Are you exhausted from watching your child struggle with ADHD signs, even after trying every traditional approach? Maybe you've sat through appointment after appointment where the diagnosis felt rushed, the prescription came quickly, and when it didn't work, the dosage was increased again and again. If you're like many of the parents that we meet, you've probably felt frustrated that nobody's ever offered you options beyond medication. You've probably been left wondering if there's something more that you could be doing to support your child long term, something that actually addresses the root of what's going on, not just the surface symptoms. Right now, over 7 million children in the US have an ADHD diagnosis, and yet most of the testing used to reach that diagnosis only focuses on labeling behaviors. It never looks deeper at what's actually causing those behaviors in the first place. But what if there was a completely different kind of ADHD assessment? One that doesn't just tell you what type of ADHD your child may have, but shows you exactly what's happening in their nervous system to create those challenges. Let me start by telling you about Ben. His story might sound familiar. After struggling in school for 2 years, Ben was diagnosed with ADHD. His mom told us how frustrating the whole process was. She said, "I was blown away at how fast it all happened. The diagnosis was quick. He was given a prescription without much discussion. When that didn't work, they increased the dosage twice. Then they were told that they could just try a different brand. No one was really willing to have a conversation about anything outside of medication. So Ben's family started exploring nutrition and functional medicine. They saw some small improvements, but still felt like something was missing. And that's when they found neurologically focused chiropractic care, a totally different approach that looked beyond symptoms and into the nervous system itself. We often see two primary types of ADHD patterns in our office. There's the raging bull type, typically younger kids with hyperactivity, impulsiveness, and just nonstop energy. Their bodies and their brains are always going, and they have a hard time slowing down or sitting still. Then there's the drunken bull type. These kids aren't bouncing off of the walls, but they get distracted easily. They lose track of what they're doing, and they often appear very disorganized. They are the ones that get labeled as lazy or unmotivated, when in reality, their nervous systems are just overwhelmed in a different way. Most kids that we see actually have a mix of both, hyperactive and inattentive, which means a one-size-fits-all approach simply doesn't work. And here's what most traditional testing, where it falls short. Most ADHD assessments focus only on behaviors, not on what's happening inside the brain and the nervous system. These tools are great at giving a label, but they offer no insight into why your child is struggling or what kind of support their nervous system really needs. If your testing only tracks signs and symptoms, but never uncovers the cause, you're only solving half of the problem, if that. Here at Foundations Chiropractic, we use a different kind of assessment called insight neurological scans. These scans measure exactly how much stress and disorganization is present in your child's nervous system. For that raging bull kid, we look closely at something called the total energy index, a score that shows us how much overstimulation is present in their system. The ideal number is 150 or less, but many of these kids scan at 200, 300, or even higher. For the drunken bull kids, we look at their pattern score, which reflects how well their brain and their body are communicating. A healthy score is around 100. Kids who struggle with focus, memory, and emotional regulation often scan around 50 or below that. What makes these scans so powerful is that they don't just confirm a label, they show us where the dysfunction is happening and how severe it is. And that gives us the ability to build a care plan that's precise and personalized, not just based on symptoms. So, what's really at the root of ADHD signs? For so many of the kids we see, it all traces back to nervous system dysfunction. We call it subluxation, areas of stress and disconnection within the brain-body communication pathways, and this kind of stress often happens early in life. It could be caused by prenatal stress, birth interventions like forceps or C-sections, or early life experiences that just overload the nervous system before it even has a chance to develop properly. When the nervous system gets stuck in that fight or flight pattern, it can show up as hyperactivity, emotional outbursts, poor focus, and behavioral struggles, all of the things that we associate with ADHD. But unless we look at the nervous system, we miss the most important piece, and that's why we do things differently. At Foundations, we don't guess. We scan. We use real data to understand what your child's nervous system needs in order to calm, to regulate, and to connect. And when that happens, everything else starts to fall into place. Focus improves, behavior evens out, and your child begins to thrive and not just manage. So if you're ready to look deeper and finally find the missing piece in your child's care, click the link in our bio to learn more about insight scans and how neurologically focused chiropractic care could be the game changer that you've been searching for.